Okay, here is ANY, Sphere 3D Corp. This finishes at $4.86 today. That is up 41.28%. Please like the video, please subscribe, and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. So here is Robinhood, HOOD. This finishes at $55 today. That is up 7.93%. So this is the 7th day of trading on Robinhood. Had a really nasty day yesterday, but it was kind of expected. You know, just healthy pullback from the massive day on Wednesday, and had some bearish news about an offering. So today we get a little bit of bounce back. Pretty nice day for Robinhood, up 8%. Still extremely volatile. So not much to analyze, not much data to go off of, but we got a gap up at 48.50. So that's a bearish indicator. That is telling us that this is likely to come back down to 48.50 at some point to fill the gap. Gaps don't always fill, but they usually do. And this one will probably fill pretty soon, in my honest opinion. Had 70 million in volume today, which is pretty significant volume. This pump today was confirmed by the volume. So if you want to go long, I wouldn't recommend that just yet. I mean, long term, I think Robinhood will go up. Despite the public opinion about this company, it does really well for itself. It makes a lot of money, growing very rapidly, expanding its products. So as much as I dislike the company, it's here to stay, and it's a good company from the business standpoint. That being said, I do think $55 at this current moment in time is overvalued. The street agrees with that too. Financial media just slammed this stock. They don't like this stock. Even the apes don't really like this stock. No one really likes this stock. And again, we have the gap up at 48.50, bearish indicator. So not quite sure how low it's going to go, but I'm fairly confident that this is going to keep pulling back. And I wouldn't buy in just yet, because you should be able to get a way better price. I think it would be a good idea to buy the dip, because eventually in the long term this will go back up. But I think 55 is not a good entry. So if you want to go long, I support it, just not yet, you know. Hold off a little bit, probably a couple months, and you should be able to get this at a way better price. Now, if you want to go short, don't have much data to go off of yet, but it seems like a pretty good play for the reasons I just mentioned. Negative sentiment on this stock by the street and the apes. Gap up at 48.50, bearish indicator. You know, brand new stock. The market is still figuring out the true value of this stock. So this stock probably is going to pull back, in the short term at least. So going short wouldn't be such a bad play. I'm not quite sure how much money you can make, but I would say at least over 10, because I do think it's going to come back to 48.50 at least. So that's pretty decent money. You could make a lot more. Nobody knows. But you should be able to make at least 10%. If you want to short right here. Seems like a pretty good play in the short term. I would support that. However, there is still risk involved. We saw a squeeze earlier this week. Under the right conditions, this can squeeze again. So if you want to short, just do it at your own risk. Understand what you're getting yourself into. Not financial advice. So congratulations to everyone who made money on this one today. And good luck to everyone currently in this stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is Robinhood, HOOD. Alright, so here is MVST Microvast. This finishes at $11.65 today. That is up 11.27%. So this has been a very hot stock on Wall Street Bets. A lot of apes talking about it. A lot of DDs, a lot of YOLOs about this. And today, StockTwits has caught on. This was trending on StockTwits, top 10. So this stock is really catching some steam in terms of social media. Morgan Stanley has a price target of $6 on this. They believe that it ain't worth what it's worth now. They believe it's worth half what it's worth now. So the apes disagree. The stock has only been trading for 10 trading sessions so far, so very early on. Not too much data to go off of yet, but let's see what we can figure out here. So I see a gap up at 1065, so that is a bearish indicator. That means that this is likely to come back down to 1065 eventually. And honestly, probably going to happen pretty soon. It did 25 million in volume today, which is very significant volume. By far the biggest volume day in the early life of this stock. So this pump today was confirmed by the volume. So if you want to go long, I'm not going to say don't do it because apparently there is squeeze potential. Will it squeeze? I don't know. But historically, when everyone is screaming, this stock is going to squeeze, it usually doesn't. I'm just being completely honest. Probably every 1 out of 10 stocks that everyone is screaming it's going to squeeze actually squeezes. So, not saying this won't squeeze, but just don't count on it. You shouldn't buy stocks just because it has short squeeze potential. You should buy it because you like the stock and you really believe in it. And the short squeeze potential is just an added bonus. You know, personally, I wouldn't go for it. I wouldn't go long here. Seems kind of overvalued to me, and we got the gap up. So it's too risky for me. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't count on a short squeeze. That's just my personal opinion. You know, if you want to go long, that is a very high risk, high reward play. Could pay off really big, or it can go really wrong. Not going to tell you guys what to do with your money, but personally, I wouldn't go for it. Not saying it won't squeeze, but historically, it just doesn't happen. So if you want to go long, just do it at your own risk. High risk, high reward stuff here. Now, if you want to go short, I wouldn't do it. Just looking at the graph seems like a pretty decent play. We got the gap up, so it's probably going to come back to 1065. So you can probably make at least 10% on this, but it's a little too risky for my liking. Not much data to go off of. Very early in the life of this stock. I don't like going long or short when something just IPOs. This has short squeeze potential. More likely that it's not going to squeeze than it is going to squeeze, but who knows? You know, do you want to risk making 10% at the expense of getting squeezed? I wouldn't. Doesn't really seem worth it to me. So I would just stay away from this. I don't think the risk is worth the reward. There are much better plays out there in the market where you can get 10% and not have the fear of getting short squeezed. So honestly, probably the best play right now is not to do anything, long or short. It's probably just to stay away from this altogether and see where this goes in the short term and reevaluate the situation then. Because right now, long or short, this is pretty much a gamble, not an investment. You're either going to be on the moon or in the dumpster. No in between. So if you're about that life, sure, go for it. Not financial advice. But yeah, you know, if you're not about that life, if you don't want that type of risk, just stay away. Congratulations to everyone who made money on this one today. And good luck to everyone currently in this stock and to everyone looking to take a position. That is MVST Microvast. Okay, here is NVAX Novavax. This finishes at $189.89 today. That is down 19.61%. Okay, so we had earnings yesterday, so let's take a look at that. Novavax reported quarterly losses of $4.75 per share, which missed the analyst consensus estimate of $3.63 by 30.85%. This is a 1,483% decrease over losses of 30 cents per share from the same period last year. That is really bad. The company reported quarterly sales of $298 million, which missed the analyst consensus estimate of $387.87 million by 23.17%. This is a 738.59% increase over sales of $35.54 million the same period last year. So, pretty bad earnings. They missed on both EPS and revenue. So no surprise that it dumped off so bad yesterday and continued on to today. So in turn, the stock finishes down 20% today. All right, let's analyze this. So right now, this is sitting on the support of 190, which it finished at today. So if this goes to the upside, next level of resistance would be 196, 200, 206, 214, 222, 228, 231, 237, 244, 250, 254, 263, 268, 276, 284, 291, 298, 305, 316, and then the high of 332. Now, if this goes to the downside, next level of support would be 183, 177, 169, nice, 166, 161, 155, 149, 140, 132, 124, 115, 108, 103, 97, 92, 86, 81, and then the low of 77. So right now at this current price, 190, the channels to the upside and the downside are pretty decently sized. Expect a good amount of price action, nothing too crazy though, either way this goes. So we have a gap down at approximately 228. So that's a bullish indicator that is telling us that this is likely to come back up to 228 eventually at some point. Can't say how long, but it's likely to come back to 228. Pretty interesting because this actually gapped up recently at 289, and today it fills the gap but forms a new gap. The gap up filled relatively quickly. Maybe the gap down will also fill relatively quickly. Hopefully. RSI is currently at 48, so that is pretty average. A little below average, but according to the RSI, this current price, 190, is pretty fair market value. It did 15 million in volume today, which is some pretty significant volume compared to the average. So the sell-off today was confirmed by the volume. So kind of hard to tell where this is going to go in the short term, but if it were my best guess, this looks more bullish than bearish here. We have the gap down at 228, and honestly, this looks like it's consolidating. So this will probably consolidate for a little longer, maybe a couple weeks, and then hopefully it's going to break out. Sometimes it sells off, but usually after consolidation, we see it break out. So we have a symmetrical triangle forming here. So we got bullish indicators and neutral indicators. Not really any bearish indicators here. Although the earnings were really bad. The financials were pretty bad, I will say. So maybe you could consider that a bearish indicator. If you want to go long, I would support that. Just looking at the technical analysis, just looking at the graph, this looks more bullish than bearish. And you should be able to make a decent amount of money because I do believe this is going to come back up to 228 to fill the gap in the short term. Not quite sure about holding this long term, but definitely in the short term, you should be able to make some pretty good tendies if you go long. Not financial advice. Now, if you want to go short, I wouldn't do that, and I don't recommend that. As I just said, we're not really getting any bearish indicators, just bullish and neutral indicators. So nothing on this graph is really saying that this is going to pull back and keep going to the downside. I think we already had significant pullback. The chances of this continuing to go to the downside, I don't think it's very likely. There's some pretty strong support at 178 and 170. Retested those levels a few times. Was not able to break that. I think it's a lot more likely this goes to the upside than the downside. And even if it does go to the downside, it probably won't go to the downside by that much. I don't recommend going short. It doesn't seem very logical in this situation here. There are way better short plays in the market than this one. Sorry to everyone who lost money on this one today. Pretty disgusting, but just hang in there. And good luck to everyone currently in this stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is NVAX Novavax. Okay, here is ANY, Sphere 3D Corp. This finishes at $4.86 today. That is up 41.28%. So there was news on this one today, so let's take a look at that first. Sphere 3D Corp said it has entered into an agreement with Hertford Advisors, a privately held company that provides turnkey mining solutions, to provide a 6-month exclusive right to assume all of Hertford's rights to a number of Bitcoin mining agreements. The company said it had successfully assumed and executed the first Bitcoin agreement directly with the manufacturer for the purchase of up to 60,000 new Bitcoin mining machines, with deliveries beginning in November and continuing over the course of the next 10 months. So, very positive PR. This company, Sphere 3D, is acquiring the rights of these Bitcoin rigs. Yeah, and everyone's going crazy about these crypto stocks right now. Very positive news, up 41% today. So let's analyze this. First of all, big gap up from about 350. So that's a bearish indicator. This is telling us that this is likely to come back down to 350 at some point, probably sooner than later, in my honest opinion. So right now this is sitting on the support of 485, which it finished at today. So if this goes to the upside, next level of resistance would be 535, and then the high of 560, which it finished at today. Now if this goes to the downside, next level of support would be 450, 435, 405, 380, 370, 360, 350, 340, 325, 310, $3, 285, 275, 265, 255, 245, 240, 230, 220, 205, 190, 180, 175, 160, 150, 145, 135, and then the low of 125. RSI is currently at 77. So that is an overbought, overvalued territory. So be careful, guys. And this did 118 million in volume today. So very significant volume. Second biggest volume day of the year. So this pump today was confirmed by the volume. So right now, at this current price, 485, the channels to the upside and the downside are extremely wide. So expect a lot of price action. There's going to be a lot of volatility. Now, if/when this comes back down to 380, the channels start to narrow, and I expect the price action to decrease significantly. So if you want to go long, I don't think that's a good idea. Got some pretty bearish indicators here. Big gap up, high RSI, high volume. I think this is likely to come back down to 350 to fill the gap in the short term. It already went up 41%. You know, if you buy in here, this would be FOMO at this current price. I don't think that's a good idea. So if you want to go long, I definitely wouldn't do it at this price. Maybe if it comes back down to 350, then I would say that's acceptable. Definitely don't do it here at this current price, 485. Now, if you want to go short, seems like a really good play. Not financial advice, but as I just said, a lot of bearish indicators. High RSI, high volume, big gap up. So this is likely to pull back in the short term. And I would say that this is going to pull back pretty hard because of the wide channels. This can easily go back to 380 very fast. And then it's going to be a little bit harder to come back down to 350, but it should do that. So all the technicals are there. This graph is screaming, short it down, sell it. So I think going short is a good play here. However, there is still risk involved. As I mentioned, the channels to the upside are also extremely wide. So if for whatever reason this does continue to go to the upside and you short this, you could be in pretty big trouble. So not likely that's going to happen, but possible. So, you know, looks like a good short play, but still risk involved. Know what you're getting yourself into. So congratulations to everyone who made money on this one today. Fat gains, fat tendies. Consider taking profits. Never a bad idea to do that. And good luck to everyone currently in this stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is ANY Sphere 3D. So we're not going to do a full analysis, but let's take a look at this. So this is KXIN Auto, KXIN. Apparently this is the next big player in the Chinese EV space. We got NIO, XPeng, and Li Auto. And these guys are trying to be the next big player, the fourth big player in the Chinese EV market. The company said it has been in merger and acquisition talks with a number of EV manufacturers. So they're looking to acquire an EV company and they want to break into the EV space. So very positive news. So it's up 90% today, up 89%. Incredible. RSI is currently at 77. Huge volume day, biggest volume day of the year. Looks like an easy short play to me. Not financial advice. 89% today. No way that's sustainable. So, congratulations to everyone who made money on this today. Consider taking profits, not financial advice. And good luck to everyone currently in this stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is KXIN Kaixin Auto. Thanks everyone for watching today. I appreciate you guys. Please like the video. Please subscribe and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. You apes already know, diamond hands to the moon. I'm Ty. This is Smarter Gambling. See you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Peace out.